So I hope my screen is visible and my voice is clear. So in case if you have any trouble in viewing the screen or with the audio, so just please ping in the chat window. Okay, so let's kickstart the session. Let's before we start, so let me give a brief introduction of myself. So myself, Amaresh. So I have close to 10 years of experience in the areas of data analytics, consulting, and cloud computing, and business intelligence as well. Okay, so particularly my journey with data science started somewhere in the end of 2014 and 15. Okay, beginning of 2015. Okay, and I've been into this teaching field almost from 4 years, close to 4 years. Okay, so and my relationship with Innomatics is like more than a year now. We are now very close to be 2 years with Innomatics now, and in these 2 years, more than 10, 12 batches I have handled. Okay, so that is a brief about myself. And coming to the session, so today we are going to have a demo session about the data science course offered by Innomatics. Okay, and also we will see few use cases primarily related to sentimental analysis, and apart from that I have two more other use cases also for you uh, to just get an idea of what would be the outcome of this course. Okay, I hope that is clear. So, and one thing, so please mute yourself for the comfort of the entire audience group, and also please use chat window if you have any issues. Okay, or if you want to share something. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, so for the next 90 minutes, so approximately we are expecting this session to be 90 minutes, but no hard and fast rule. So if we have any doubts, we can discuss, and we're going to keep the last 15-20 minutes for the doubts and discussions and getting clarifications. Okay, so in with now within this given time, we are going to talk about data science and Python. Okay, so and jointly we'll also talk about how the course is connected to these two topics. Okay, how the course is going to cover these major two topics. Okay, so so almost we have a 40 plus right today. So we have 40 plus people joined here today. So one common goal for everyone is here that brought all of us together here on this session today is like career path into data science. Okay, so career path into data science. So why do you feel that data science is like why did you chosen data science? You can just ping your responses quickly. What made you to look into this particular field? You might be like I mean, for sure a majority of you might be like still students going through their graduation or post graduation, and few might be already working with a prior experience. So what made you guys to think about data science is a field where you can find some good career path in the upcoming years? For future growth, smart salary, upcoming years, trending technology. Yes. Availability of the data. Okay, we are going to talk about that. Day to day it's getting automated, everything. Yes, we'll see how things gets automated. There is a simple use case for that also we are going to discuss. New technology with variety of applications. Yes, absolutely right, Aditya. Creating miracles from data. Yes, obviously bright future in this field. Okay, so data is what helps everyone to make decisions, which is one of the most important aspect at any place. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you. So that means already in majority of the answers. Okay, so if I put everything together into a simple text notepad, okay, all of your responses. What is the most frequent word that we used? Everybody used the most frequent word. Everybody used data, right? Okay, so in almost all every response, I can see the word data used a lot. Okay, so that is because the entire thing started just because of data. So just because of the data, okay, so companies, researchers, people around the world started looking for techniques. Okay, so particularly extracting insights from data is an art. It's a science, which is nothing but data science. Extracting meaningful, someone said miracles from the data, right? Nice word. Okay, so extracting, I mean, creating miracles out of the data that you have in your hand. Suppose say you have some a big excel sheet or big text file, so you created a miracle out of that. Let's use the word miracle out of that. That's an art, that's a science, right? So that's what data science do. Okay, and then what is the job of Python? Okay, so fine. You know the logic, and in order to write the logic you need a programming language. Okay, that is what Python. And why only Python? We'll discuss that as well. Is Python is the only way in the world to implement data science algorithms? No, there are many. Okay, clear everybody? So let's move forward. Okay, so one single main slide which where we are going to spend our rest of the session. That's it. No theoretical boring stuff. Everything will be interactive and we'll be discussing. And I urge you guys to use a chat window to make sure that the session is more interactive. Okay, fine. First of all, okay, data science is an interdisciplinary field. It is a interdisciplinary field because the reason is this is not limited to one particular skill set. So nobody, I mean, there is nothing like you read this textbook and you become a data scientist. You complete this module, you become a data scientist. Okay, so it is a continuous journey. Okay, so there are lots of techniques. Okay, so you read these 4 techniques. Okay, that's it, you become a data scientist. So there is no hard and fast rule, there is no easy way to do that. Okay, definitely this way is going to be um, challenging, okay, and also exciting as well. Okay, so as and when you start discovering, so suppose say you started your course, then you are completing a module by module. So then as and when you get to know the beauty of these algorithms, you will be like amazed. Oh, I mean, oh, this is how Netflix is working. Oh, this is how Amazon is working, and this is how Flipkart is recommending something. Okay, so you and this is how the products are organized in IKEA or DMart. Okay, so the way that you see the real world changes differently after this course. Everywhere in your day-to-day life, you will find a small or a big coincidence of what you have learned in this course. That's how lively connected these techniques are. These are so well connected that you can find them in a day-to-day life also. Everywhere, when you watch TV, when you browse through websites, when you browse through e-commerce websites, when you purchase something online, when you visit a store. Okay, everywhere you can correlate these things. Okay, so to that level, these techniques are like widely adopted already. Okay, widely adopted already. Fine. In order to become a data scientist, now what are all the things that um, you need to gain yourself? You need to upskill yourself. You might have already have majority of these skills, few of you, and few of you might be still, they are beginning of their career, okay, or few of you might be still studying, okay. So then what should I learn to become a data scientist for a successful career path? Okay, first first and foremost is, first we need to talk about statistics and AI. Statistics and AI. Stats, majority of us would have covered statistics in some way or other in the schooling or college days. Correct? Yes. Those stats are pretty much sufficient for everybody. Okay. Okay. So I can see someone bringing no. So that's okay. Okay. So that's what I'm going to tell is what is required. So now there'll be two parallel tracks. Okay, I'll be talking like what are the key skill set, what are the key skills required for a data scientist, and how the course from Innomatics is going to fulfill that gap. Not everybody is comfortable with stats, not everybody will be comfortable with programming. Okay, so there will be a gap. So that is where you are here today, and that is where we are here today, okay, as Innomatics, to fill that gap. Even you are absolutely come from a non-technical background, no stats, completely zero knowledge on stats, nothing related to programming till now you have touched. Okay, so that is absolutely fine. There are so many people, approximately like 1500 more people got trained in the last couple of years at Innomatics, out of which majority, most of them are completely no programming or no technical background. Okay, so the course is designed in such a way that there is no prerequisite for that. It doesn't expect you to be coming from a CSE background or IT background, or you are already into 3 4 years of programming experience. No prerequisites like that. Agree? Okay. So even like you are starting from zero, and you will become, so you are aiming to become a hero. Think in that way, zero to hero. That's it, in one single line. Yes. So do not get intimidated. Do not take a back step. Okay. So that's why I said it is going to be a challenging field for you and also an exciting field. Okay, so the excitement that you get whenever you complete a new topic, new algorithm, whenever you see the real use of these algorithms, that's keep you motivated for the next month. Let me learn one more month, another week. Practice, 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 practice. That's what I generally advise students who join this course. There are only three things. Okay, so there are only three things that will take you to a successful career path in data science. First is practice, second one practice, third one is also practice. As an institute, what we are going to help is like some 20 30%, but rest 70% is all practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more you get comfortable. The way that you talk changes, the way that you see the real world changes. So then suddenly your friends and your colleagues, they'll find difference in the language that you talk. Okay, you suddenly talks the data language, the terminology that you uses changes. Okay, so your knowledge level changes. Okay, so the way that you see a e-commerce store is completely a high level view compared to your friend who doesn't even know all this stuff, right? So that brings the difference. Okay, so do not get intimidated about the statistics, all these high-fi funda stuff. So that's why even the use cases that what we are going to show you today are like pretty lightweight. Okay, so but you will be having much more advanced use cases in the course. Okay, but here I don't want to get you push you into a scary zone, right? Showing lot of code and confusing you. Never think in that way. Okay, so it is pretty much uh, as long as you practice, it is easy. That's it. That is the only thing I can say. Okay, so the primary fundamentals of the fundamental, um, one of the major fundamental is statistics. Okay, so in statistics, the major thing is descriptive and inferential. You can just simply relax and ignore if you don't understand any of these keywords. That's absolutely fine, because this is your day zero, not even day one. Okay, so this is your day zero. That is totally common that you might not heard of these words previously. That is absolutely common. You are not different. Okay, fine. And these descriptive statistics and inferential statistics gives a basic understanding about the data. Okay, so these statistics are there from a very long time, 100 years, 150 years. People were using all these for a very long time. Okay, so then someone said, okay, so someone said there is a lot of data available. So in few responses which we got today, someone said that a lot of data available across the world. Okay, um, so as the data getting accumulated, more and more data started accumulating in the world. Then companies started thinking, okay, what to do with this data? Is there a way that my company can benefit from this data? Can I increase my revenues? Can I increase my sales? Can I increase my profits? Then they started looking for new approaches, new techniques. Then they found, yes, here you go, data science. There are some techniques. Bring those techniques, put into this field, use this existing data, get better insights, do more sales. That's it. More sales, more revenue results into more profits, right? So that is where people slowly started moving the basic insights which are coming from stats to advanced insights from data science. Data science is one of the major branch under artificial intelligence, AI. AI is mother of all topics, mother of all topics. Okay, so now let me move to the a whiteboard. Okay, I'm moving the screens. Okay, now what is AI? You can use chat window. What is AI? I mean, it is artificial intelligence, that is for sure. Okay, so but what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is something, okay, fine, you can ping if you know. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. Artificial intelligence is nothing but training a machine to reciprocate or to reproduce or to do the same activities what a human can do. Yes, decision making. Okay, training a machine so that it can take decisions behalf of you. Yes, thank you. And applied mathematics and computer engineering. Yes, but very strong technical words there. That's absolutely fine. And training a machine like a human. Yes, pretty simple. Thank you, Shahina. Okay, so pretty simple and intuitive explanation. Training a machine like a human being, bringing human intelligence to machine. Yes, correct. Thank you, Sukumar. Okay, so a calculator is also a simple artificial intelligence machine, right? Okay, so you made sure you use that hardware, small chip and processors inside a calculator, so that it can do the calculations what your brain can do: additions, square root, log. Okay, logs may not be a very much easy for human brain, bit complicated, but all those complicated stuff, not only the common stuff but also complicated stuff, can be done by the calculator in a much lesser time and more accurately. So why the dependency on these machines is gaining the boom? Because once you train them correctly, that is the important thing. Once you train them correctly, they can bring lot of speed and accuracy. They can bring lot of speed and accuracy. Look at the cash counting machine. Look at the cash counting machine. Suppose there is a 1 crore cash in a bag, and if a human being has been given a task to count that cash, then it will take a lot of time, right? But now there are some advanced missions where they can count very quickly, okay, accurately, and also machines are there to identify fake notes as well. Look at the amount of time that you are saving, the amount of accuracy that you are getting, and also the amount of safety when you identify that fake notes. So like that there are so many missions. Okay, so that like this, like that there are so many techniques available under artificial intelligence. So let's see what are the major branches. So the major branches under artificial intelligence is machine learning and advanced machine learning is what we call it as deep learning. Okay, and then we have natural language processing, NLP, what we call. Okay, so under this NLP there are again see under machine learning, under deep learning, under NLP. Okay, you have another lot of techniques and practices, and one such practice under NLP is sentimental analysis. What was said to you as a simple use case. And under sentimental analysis, one of the application is generating word clouds. That is what we are going to see. Okay, and another branch is computer vision, in short CV. Okay, so machine learning and deep learning techniques. Okay, so and along with natural language processing, which completely text, understanding the reviews. Okay, so giving the sentiment out of that reviews. Okay, and computer vision, everything related to images, everything related to images. So identifying the person in the image. As soon as suppose say you enter into the office, the attendance will be recorded because the machine is trained previously with your image. So now from the next time, whenever you enter into the office, you need not to punch in separately. The moment the camera captures, okay, so the moment the camera captures your image, it will log the time. So that's it. So those comes under computer vision. Okay, and other branches we do have called, okay, so other branches like IoT, robotics, and speech to text. Okay, etc. Okay, etc. Okay, now in this, what is our area of focus in this course, or what is currently in demand in the industry? So you can see these are the techniques that are in demand in the industry and which you are going to learn as part of this course. These are the four major branches of artificial intelligence. Four major branches of artificial intelligence that you are going to learn as part of this course. And for these, there is a huge demand currently in the market. And you are going to learn approximately 12 to 15 techniques under all these four branches. Okay, major techniques which will help you to solidify your position in the industry. Okay, so major 12 to 15 techniques, and for these techniques you will be working on number of examples, use cases, projects. Okay, and quizzes, assignments, lots and lots of things are available for you to master these concepts in the course. Okay, clear everybody? Fine. So now what we have discussed till now is, so we have spoken about stats and we have spoken about artificial intelligence. Okay, so now the four major branches what we have seen. Okay, so the four major branches: ML, DL, NLP, CV, computer vision, all these have math based algorithms. Math based algorithms where statisticians, mathematical researchers, data scientist researchers who are doing their doctoral thesis research, they have invented so many techniques. And these techniques, when they are in the raw mathematics form, they got converted into programming implementation. So programming. So bringing the mathematical knowledge into programming is what implementation phase. Implementation phase. So that means there is a technique on the paper. Now you need to write a code for that. That's it. There is a technique on the paper. You need to write code for it. That is what you are implementing that algorithm. That is what you are implementing the algorithm using a programming language. That is where comes the second important skill, programming fundamentals. That is where we talk about programming fundamentals. Clear? Now in this programming fundamentals, okay. So just
ముందు వచ్చినప్పుడు నేను సాఫ్ట్ వేర్ నాకు ఒప్పుకోవాలి. అవునా 12 గంటలకు కోర్స్ ఆఫ్లు వేరే అనుకున్నాను మన
Raghu,
అంటే నేను అక్కడికి వచ్చేవాడిని
Raghu.
వెళ్తుంటాను రోజు మాత్రం
Okay, Hari Prashant, yes, I can. I will show you examples. Okay, so that is where we have not only sentimental analysis use case. I have two other use cases also. Okay, so meanwhile you can ping what kind of examples that you are expecting. Okay, fine. Okay, programming fundamentals. So the math-based algorithms need to be implemented. Implementation. Okay, so implementation done by a programming language. So this programming language we have chosen as Python. Okay, so why Python? Okay, so that means a person who is starting his journey into the data science need not to go and pick up all the research papers. Okay, try to learn the derivations, do all those mathematical stuff. Not required. Not required. Okay, first of all you need to learn Python and you need to learn the implementation. So that's it. Clear, everybody? Here is mathematical algorithms. Okay, and you need to implement them using a programming language, and this programming language is Python. Now our journey will be going backward. So first we will learn Python, step 1, and then we will learn the implementation phase, step 2. That's enough. Okay, so you are not going to pick up the mathematical derivations and do it on the paper, right? So that is not required. Okay, so that is not required. So be very clear on that. Okay, now is Python is the only language available? No. So primarily data science algorithms can be implemented using languages. So let me go back to the whiteboard. Okay, so data science algorithms can be implemented by two ways. One is programming language and tools. Okay, and tools. So whereas, okay, so whereas under programming language you have Python, R, Julia, Java, etc. Okay, and in tools you have SAS, SPSS, Veka, etc. Okay, so one main difference between tools. Okay, so then you may ask, so then first of all, what is the proportion of what? Now we'll understand the difference. Which one should I learn? Should I learn a programming language or should I learn a tool? Okay, no, there is no denial that there are companies, there are people who are using tools. Okay, and but large portion of the people are using programming languages because tools are licensed. So that means you have to pay the license cost. Okay, and limited options. So whatever that you have, Okay, so whatever that you have to use that. You cannot bring in customization because tool is built by a company, and the if any changes or new features that has to be that has to come into the product or the tool should come from the company. Suppose, say very simple, look at this OneNote that I am using. If I want, so what are the basic shapes that are available I can draw? I have a rectangle, circle, parallelogram, triangle, and diamond. And if I want a hexagon, octagon, do I have an option here? No, I cannot use an octagon because that is a limitation. That's it. These are the options provided by the tool, and I have to use those options only. Primary challenges with the tools. But yes, there are companies who are comfortable with this existing
நான்
functionality.
கொட்டாய்க்கு போறேன்.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. There are companies who are comfortable with the options available with the tools, and there are companies using tools. Okay. Now coming back to programming languages. Programming languages, at least you can say, take the top two, Python and R, open source, free, no license cost. Even everybody can kickstart programming right from the day one, immediately. Even now, if you decide within next half an hour, you can start your Python programming environment. Okay, and since it is a programming language, everything, the logic, okay, so logic, writing, everything is in your hands, so you can do lot of customization. So it is free and customization. So these are the flexibilities uh, which will bring us towards programming languages. Now, in these programming languages, you may ask, sir, you have mentioned these many things, why only Python? Okay, because because we discussed that. Okay, so we discussed that data science has math based algorithms. So for the implementation of these algorithms, we need powerful packages or libraries, so that, okay, so these complex calculations can be done in an easy way. And Python is leading in that. It has so many inbuilt functions or packages. Even a complex algorithm can be written in 3-4 lines of code. That is the best way. So that is the best advantage of Python compared to other languages. That is the reason Python is a very good starting point from non-programming or non-technical individuals. You need not to write hundreds and hundreds of lines of code to implement one algorithm. It just takes for the machine learning part, that machine learning algorithm implementation, it hardly takes few lines of code. That's it. And all that you need to learn is which library to use, which function to use. That's it. Which package to use, which function to use. That's it. Right? So with less amount of code, okay, so you can implement powerful algorithms. So that is the primary advantage of Python. And the number of inbuilt functions has been increased a lot from 2015 16 to 2020. So many additional new functionalities, they were keep on adding and adding and adding. Okay, so initially back in 2015 and 16, R was leading, R language. You can Google about R language. R language was leading, okay, the data science implementation. Okay, so but now Python is leading the implementation because R language may not handle large amounts of data just like Python. So Python has packages to handle large amounts of data, and not only for data science algorithms, Python is also useful for web application development. Okay, so and graphical user interface development. So there are so many 360-degree functionalities are available in Python. But R is primarily designed exclusively for data analysis and data science. Okay, so that is there. We have some limitations with R, and you can implement data science algorithms with some new languages called Julia and Java. Also, Java is there from a very long time. We do have options, because the reason why there are multiple language supports, because consider a simple program. Okay, consider a simple program. um Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so Fibonacci numbers, or write a simple program to calculate the age of a person. Okay, by taking date of birth as an input. This logic can be written in R, can be written in Python, can be written in Julia, Java, C, C++, any programming language, because the logic involves mathematical calculations, right? You take the date, you compute the difference, that's it. You convert that into years, that's it. Okay, so that is the reason. As long as the logic involves mathematical computations, can be written in any programming language. So that's why data science algorithms also can be written in any programming language, as long as you know the underlying logic. But there are some complex calculations which are very difficult and tedious, may take some 30-40 lines of code, where Python may take just simple one line of code. That is because they have already inbuilt functions. These functionalities made Python to the top of the list. And also it is very developer and user friendly, so you can easily learn compared to the other languages. That is another major advantage of Python. Clear, everybody? So now that we have discussed about statistics and AI. Okay, so statistics and AI, and we have discussed about programming fundamentals also, and next, data visualization. So visualizing the data. Okay, so visualizing the data is very, very important, because for business users, clients and stakeholders, if you show the direct code that you have written, they may not understand. So generating visualizations is very important. Okay, as part of the data cleaning process, exploratory data analysis, which you are going to learn in the Python module, data visualization is one of the key aspect. You will try to learn how to create bar charts, pie charts, okay, box plots, scatter plots using Python code. Simple one line codes, that's it. One line is sufficient to generate this thing. One line for bar chart, one line, just basic bar chart. Very simple. And on top of that, you can add, you can beautify the charts. You can beautify with the other options also. Clear? Okay. So data visualizations helps you to effectively communicate the storytelling and communication. So storytelling and communication is linked with data visualization. Okay, so data visualization is linked with storytelling and communication by showing the charts. Okay, by showing the charts. Have you ever seen news channels when on the day of election results counting? They'll be putting the dashboards on the screen, TV screens, the voting percentage, the counting percentage, and they'll put colors to the entire India map. Okay, so where BJP is leading, the colors, based on the colors they'll show you, right? They are using data visualizations to communicate the story. Okay, so the concept that they are explaining there is like how the parties are leading in the counting. That is what storytelling and communication, that's it. As simple as that. It is not a fancy stuff, the basic stuff that we see daily in the news channels. They'll put on the India map, then they'll show you, they'll show you the pie chart. Okay, so what is the vote share between this party and this party, how many votes polled? Okay, so that is what data visualization and storytelling communication is. Okay, and next thing, subject matter expertise. So subject matter expertise is nothing but, okay, so talking confidently about the problem that you are solving. So this primarily, don't worry, this comes with the experience. No one will, so everybody will be starting with zero in this particular skill. subject matter expertise. But slowly, as and when they starts progressing into they solving new problems, learning new techniques, completing new modules, working 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, as and when they progress in their career, their subject matter expertise levels will go up. So don't worry. Okay. So but you need to in the data science career path, this is also one of the major requirement. Okay. And final and foremost thing that we are going to talk is big data. What is big data? Someone said data is available, lot of data is available in the world. The lot of data is called big data. That's it. Data which is beyond normal storing capacity. Data beyond normal storing capacity. Long back, we used to save data in Excel sheets, text files. So then the limit couldn't suffice the need. Then we moved into Access databases. So though those databases will also have a certain limit, that is also not sufficient. Now from there we moved to relational databases, and from there we moved to now um, big data systems, Hadoop, Hive, all those things. Okay. Now in simple terms, data which is very small, data which is very small for us in the beginning, long back, now it got exploded. Previously, what was the amount of memory available in your mobile phone? The first smartphone, 2 GB, 3 GB, that's it, right? Nowadays we have 128 GB, 256 GB phones also, because the amount of the data that you were saving in 10 years back is very less. You hardly, majority of the people hardly had a Gmail account or email account. Hardly you had any camera functionality. But nowadays, each one of us having multiple email accounts and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social networking, Amazon, Flipkart, Netflix, Prime Video, everything. There are so many accounts that, the data is like so huge. For one human being who is using a smartphone, his data got almost 1,000 times exploded from last 10 years back, 100 times, 1,000 times. And look at the number of photos that you are saving. Okay. So now each photo, 20 megapixel, 30 megapixel cameras, each, have you ever observed the size of those photos? 10 MB, 15 MB, or even large, because your cameras are so powerful. Okay. So that's why the data got exploded. The size of the data that each individual is using like crossed many boundaries. That's why they coined a new term called big data. They coined a new term called big data, which is beyond the normal data. Clear? Okay, fine. Now let me jump onto the use cases. Okay, so we'll we'll come back to one last slide here. Required slide is there. So how you are going to progress in this course to learn all these things, I'll discuss that after showing you some use cases. And meanwhile, if you have any doubts, just make a note of them. We'll have a 15 to 20 minutes of window in the end to discuss those doubts. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. Now I turned into Jupyter notebook, which where we are going to write the Python code and execute and get the output. Now what you are seeing is the Python code. Okay. So again, let me make this very clear. Don't get intimidated by the code that you are seeing on the, so that's why rather than showing some heavy stuff, I'm using some simple intuitive stuff for you to understand the use cases. I don't want to push you into a scary mode. Okay, so do not worry about this code. That is absolutely normal. By the end of this entire course, okay, a 4-month journey, okay, you will write these examples with very simple and easy manner, okay. That is completely normal if you don't understand anything here. I'll just show you some basic things. Okay, fine. So let us come to the topic. So I have multiple examples rather than showing one example. I'm just showing multiple. I'm going to show multiple examples to you. Okay. So sentimental analysis is one of the major branch under NLP. Okay, under NLP, sentimental analysis one of the major branch, and in this, generating word clouds is one of the concept. Okay, so word clouds are nothing but collection and cluster of the words. Okay, so you might have seen these things already. You might have seen these things already. So let me show you first a word cloud, and why the term sentimental? Any reason? Yeah. Okay. So have you ever seen this kind of images on the net? Those who have seen, yeah, these are nothing but word clouds. These are nothing but word clouds. These are cluster of words, okay, which will represent the whole sentiment of huge text. Huge text. This word cloud, what you are seeing on the screen, is generated out of the Amazon reviews. I'll show you that example as well to you. Amazon reviews. Okay. And how to generate this. Okay, how these things are getting generated. And someone asked, I think, why the word sentimental? Okay, so we'll discuss that also. Okay, fine. Now let me go back to the Jupyter notebook. Okay, now Python has so flexibility so that, okay, can you okay, fine, let me, since we have larger audience, I will choose the topic economy of India. Okay, so economy of India, Wikipedia. So we all know Wikipedia, right? So it contains, okay, so okay, so it contains uh, details about almost all, every topic, every topic. So we have lot of stuff here to read um, in this page, right? Okay, so now how to read this stuff? Okay, so I'll show you the beauty. This entire text will be read by this 4 lines of code. That's it. Just 4 lines of code. Simple 4 lines of code. You are not writing any big lines of code. So first of all, I am importing the required libraries, and then just it is asking me enter the title. What do you want to search from Wikipedia? Economy of India. Hit enter. That's it. That's it. Done. Fraction of seconds. And if you see text, see, within just fraction of seconds and 4 lines of code, you have almost extracted the entire content from the Wikipedia page. Not only economy of India, be it any topic on Wikipedia. We have a direct Wikipedia library available in Python, which will help you to read the content quickly. That's it. Now you have the raw text. Okay, so now you have this raw text. Is it possible for a person to understand? So now word clouds are nothing but, okay, so they will try to identify the keywords, okay, keywords that are getting repeated more number of times. Suppose say, okay, so more number of times, okay, and they will allocate size to that each word based on their number of times of appearance in the entire text. So that's why you are seeing few letters in the large font, few in small, few very small, okay, few in medium size. Those sizes are allocated. So see, love, shoe, comfortable, fit, sneaker, size, perfect fit, lightweight, expected. All,
ఏమంటున్నారు ఏం సార్
so all these have different
చెప్పండి ఇంకా
sizes.
శిరీష అమరేష్ లైట్
Okay, so all these words have different sizes. So why do they are in different sizes? Because the more number of times they are appearing in the entire text, the more number of times they are appearing in the text. And why love has so big size? Because majority of the people used this particular word love in their reviews. So I can understand the overall sentiment is good. I can see more positive words here rather than negative words. One single picture explaining the overall sentiment. One way of visualizing the sentiment inside the text. Okay, so in the similar way, okay, so in the similar way, we have so much of text here. So let's try to, okay, so let's try to generate a image. Okay, so I'll just change this 1920 into 1080 and execute. So now you can see it is in the processing stage. It is processing, it is reading the text, doing entire thing and generating the word cloud. Word cloud generated only using this one single line. That's it. Word cloud that word cloud will be generated and saved in a ready-made image format. That's it. Simple. You can go ahead and use it, share it on the WhatsApp to your friend. So this is the word cloud that I generated, or you can update it as a your profile picture in LinkedIn. Okay, so that's it, generated. It hardly took some 10-15 seconds. Now let's go back and see what it generated. This one. Okay, so we'll change the height and width. Okay, so this is not looking compatible to us. So 1080 and 1920. And meanwhile, let's generate one more word cloud in the shape of India, in the shape of India map. Same word cloud, same word cloud in the shape of India map. So that is some interactive and much more. So see, the reason for these visualizations, you may ask, then what is the use of this? Yes, because you need attractive and engaged. You need to keep your customers or clients engaged with you, and the only way that you have is by showing them beautiful visualizations, by showing them beautiful visualizations, right? So that's why we rely on these visualizations. Okay, so visualizations are very powerful. One picture speaks 1,000 words, people say, right? So one picture speaks 1,000 words, and all those 1,000 words are embedded in one single picture for you. So look at this word cloud. Now there you go. So the sizes of different sizes, that what you see there is based on their appearance, the number of times they appear, that word is appearing in the entire text. So you have sector, industry, billion, India, Indian, GDP, market, economy, world, service, largest, export, US, billion, foreign, workforce, all those. Okay, so some nice interactive way of displaying. You can use this as a good entry point of your visualizations. Correct? And next see whether this got exported. Yeah, this is also done. Now let's look at the same thing. Look at this. You need not to struggle a lot. You need not to be a UI UX designer, all the Photoshop stuff. You no need all those complex softwares. Just one few single lines, 3 4 lines of code. That's it, done. That is the beauty of Python. That is the beauty of Python. So the entire Wikipedia page is mainly talking about India, industry, services, GDP, world, economy, economic infrastructure, all these things. The entire page is talking about. So that large page content crisply consolidated into one single image. That's it. That is the use of data visualizations, compressing lots of amount of data so into one simple picture. Understood? Yes. Now quickly jump on to the next example. Amazon appliances review data. Sorry, Amazon review data. Okay, so let me just remove this. Amazon review data. So I have collected all the fashion reviews from Amazon, which is so huge. Okay, which is so huge, and let's go ahead and read that. See, so they have some purchased product and they have given the review. Okay, and they have given the review 5 stars, 4 stars, overall rating. Okay, and see how many reviews we have here. We have 3,176 reviews are there. 3,000 reviews. Is it possible for a for me to sit and read all these reviews? No. Simply overall, what they are talking about my product, whether they loved it or hated it, whether they are loving it or hated. That's it. Okay. So then immediately then you got an idea. Okay, first let's start at generate a word cloud and see what are the most used words. If the most viewed, if there is a large text with hate, very bad, worst, if these are appearing most number of times in the entire review text in these 3,000 reviews, so then obviously they'll come in the large font size, right? So then you can understand, yes, on a high level people are not very happy with your product. But let's generate. That's it. There you go. The word cloud what we have seen here. Love, shoe, comfortable, expected, fit, perfect, size, lightweight, great shoe. Yes, on a high level I can understand the sentiment in the 3,176 reviews in a fraction of seconds. How many lines of code I have written? If I reduce this into single line, 4 lines of code, just 4 lines of code. You got this. That's it. Comfy, super light, super comfy, running shoes, lightweight, athletic shoe. Yes, that is the beauty of Python. Just with 4 lines of code, look at the magic that you can do. And you can very well write this code as well. There is no surprise. This is not a Greek and Latin stuff that you need to spend like years and years to master this. Just 4 or 5 months of dedicated effort. That is the only thing that is expected from you. That's it. Nothing more than that. Okay, fine. Now moving on to the next. Okay, the one that I love a lot. Suppose say I have speeches. I have 57 files of the presidential speeches, US presidential speeches. In US, these presidential speeches have a lot of impact and weightage before elections. And in the next month, in the coming coming 1.5 month, again US president is going to be re-elected, right? So they will, in company we have to write code. We will discuss, I'll come back to these doubts. Okay, so all these speeches, they belong to George Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. They, everything was there inside. Now, okay, so each president will have different agenda for the elections, and they will stress one particular topic. And if you are aware, what was the major topic that Donald Trump stressed a lot in before his election, if anybody knows, what was the main concept that he stressed a lot? Jobs for Americans, right? Work for Americans, yes, exactly. Okay, so our jobs, I mean, American jobs should be given only for Americans. That is his major agenda. That is his major agenda. Okay, now let's, okay, so there is a lot of code here. Yes, obviously, the more complex the code is, so don't worry. So let me just execute this and directly show you what it can generate. Now what I did, I have kept 3 images readily. Bush, Obama, and Trump. And these images I am going to use to display their main keywords that they stressed a lot in their presidential speeches. Okay, so now let's see. This is what, these are the words that George Bush used a lot in his speech. I can see freedom, resentment, defended, America, tyranny, choice, excuse. Okay, okay, American economy. Okay, fine. So now let's see what Obama did. So healthcare, which is on the top. So because he did brought a healthcare policy, carried, earned, ambitions, America, winter, women, faced, crisis, water, storms. Okay, and what about Donald Trump? America, everyone, jobs, dreams. 4 major words appearing in his speeches. Right? Okay, so these visualizations are used by so many websites and Instagram accounts to keep their users engaged on their platforms for a long time. Clear? Okay, now understood the sentimental analysis. Now someone asked some time back, why the word sentiment? It reads the entire text and simply gives you a one simple way of understanding the entire sentiment. Okay, so let me show you another nice use case. Okay, so even before that, let me go to a particular page in Flipkart. So what are you seeing here? What are you seeing here? So list of TVs on Flipkart. Okay, list of TVs on Flipkart. So how many results that you got? I searched for LED TV. You can see the search text that I used on the top. I searched for LED TV. I got 1578. Okay, I got 1578 results in 66 pages. So that means each page is approximately having some 20 results, and like that they have been there, they expanded across 66 pages. Okay, now if I ask you to copy this data into an Excel sheet, how much time will you take? 66 pages. So at least, okay, forget about that. 10 pages. 10 pages. I asked you to, suppose say I asked you to extract the title of the TV, price of the TV, and rating. These three things for next 10 pages. 10 pages means 24. So I can see here 1 to 24 in each page. So that means 10 pages, 240 televisions. So 240 LED TVs, titles, price, and rating I need. How much time will it take for you? 20 minutes. Okay, fine. 60 pages. All the 66 pages. 1 hour. Okay, fine. So let me go back and show you a code. So you have approximately some 25 lines of code. Okay, so 25 lines of code. Execute this, and all that I'm doing is here I'm giving the URL. That's it. Giving the URL, and I'm giving the range. How many pages you want? 1 to 10. I'm giving 1 to 10 pages, and I'm giving the URL, and rest. That's it. If you remove this commented text out of this, hardly you have some 15 lines of code. Okay, execute this. That's it. Done. Done. Not even 30 seconds. There you go. You got your product name, price, rating from those 10 pages. Look at that. 240 records and 3 columns. That's it. If you can wait, I can pull it for all 66 pages. Just because it takes time. Few more time. Same code. See, 60 pages, 600 pages, 6,000 pages, 6 lakh pages. You are not going to change any code. Same 15 to 20 lines of code. Time matters. Obviously, right? That is understandable. It has to go through all those pages. Just wait. And not only that, guys, you can extract. I am extracting only 3 properties out of that web page. They're done. 66 pages done. How much time it took? Not even 1 minute. There you go. 1392. We pulled out all the TV names, price, ratings, everything. Okay, and if you want, you can get this actual price, how much is off, how many ratings available, how many reviews available, what are the properties of the TV, what is the image of the TV. Everything can be pulled out with this code. Everything. Just a matter of not even 1 minute it has taken to pull out this 65 pages of details. Simple 25 lines of code. That's it. That is the beauty of Python, because it has so many inbuilt libraries that will make your life so easy. That's it. Agree? Clear, everybody? Okay, fine. So now coming back to one major slide that I want to show you. Okay, so how Innomatics is going to help through this process. So whatever that you have seen, there are a lot more beautiful things are there, so that can be done with Python and machine learning data science. Okay, so now in this 4 months course, you are going to first start with the building blocks module. Okay, so you are going to start with building blocks module. Okay, in this building blocks module, you are going to learn about Python programming, stats and probability, and data visualization. After this, you will be doing a project. Same web scraping project what I showed to you. I scraped from Flipkart. You will be working on LinkedIn, extract the jobs, Naukri, extract the jobs and job descriptions. Okay.
నేను కూతురు మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళిపోతారు కదా
Raghu,
అయిపోద్ది.
hello Raghu.
మరి ఆడుకోవచ్చు.
Hello. Can you go on mute, please? Sorry for that, guys. Okay. Okay. So, and then this is the first module. In the second module, you will be learning supervised, unsupervised learning. Okay. And then this deep learning, NLP, computer vision, you will be in the advanced level. You will be learning this as part of the advanced level. So then what we did, okay, so when in the beginning we used to teach only this, then later the industry requirements got changed. Okay, so they started asking visualization tools also, visualization tools as well. Okay, so then that's why we introduced Tableau as well, one of the leading visualization tool for in the market. Tableau is one of the leading data visualization tool. Okay, and also we added a database as well, SQL, because the recruiters started asking data visualization tools and also databases. So that's why we have added Tableau and SQL in the course as well as add-ons. Clear? And then, okay, so and this entire journey will be containing multiple quizzes, assignments, projects, use cases, etc. So all that you need to do is perform well in this, and then you will be mentored for the profile creation, and in that your resume will help you to refine your resume and a GitHub profile, projects and LinkedIn profile. And then you will be, so once you perform well in all these all these tests, okay, so you will be added to Innomatics database. Okay, so where for the lifetime you will be receiving the updates whenever there is a job opening, because Innomatics has separate connection with a lot of companies in the industry. So whenever there is a requirement, you will get a notification through email. Clear? Not only teaching the course and just closing the relationship there, so we extend it to supporting the job finding also.